Aloha, this is Michelle Pierson, a lifestyle and business guide for conscious creators. And in today's video tip, I would like to talk about how to feel like you are more in control of your life and what are the next action steps you can take so that it actually produces some tangible results. So before I do that, I want to share a story about my life and how for the longest time I felt like I wasn't in control. Now, in the grand picture of things, we kind of aren't in control of life. I mean, life is just happening to us. Like, our nails are going to keep growing if we want them to stop, or if we get a cold and it comes on, it doesn't necessarily stop right in the moment. We have to take medicine and rest and stuff like that. So there's certain things that are always happening to us, but within that system, we can also co-create with it to actually live a life that's in alignment. Like what I'm doing now. I live in Hawaii. I've been here almost 4 years now. Originally, I'm from the East Coast, and for that whole half of my life, I was really living out of alignment and doing things based off of fear, lack of mentality, like I had to, that it was expected of me, and that brought me a lot of suffering and also made my soul feel really crushed, and it was heavy. So what I used to do before I'm able to live my lifestyle, my dream lifestyle now, is I would always be late for work. I was chronically late all the time. In fact, I got fired from a couple of jobs for being late. I was a great employee, they loved me, but some of the other employees got mad that I would get that special treatment and all, and they had to let me go. And so anyway, it was a good lesson. But what I realized is that I didn't like being an employee, and that I wanted to work for myself. But also, on a more responsible level, I was realizing that I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, and the reason why I was late is because it gave me a sense of control. So, for example, when I lived in Philadelphia, I had a job that was out in the suburbs, and I would have to walk about 20 minutes from my apartment to the train station. The train was about an hour, then it was another 20-minute walk, and so I would push time and leave at the very last minute. I had it timed. If I left by 7:17, I could walk. If I left by 7:20, I was going to have to run a couple of blocks. I mean, it was pretty crazy, and it gave me a sense of adrenaline because I didn't feel alive in the work that I was doing. I'm like, okay, I get up, I go to work, I do the same thing, and I just didn't feel this sense of aliveness. So the adrenaline and the running, made me feel like, okay, I've got some sort of control around this, and I'm sweating, so I'm alive now. This is great. And sometimes I would miss the train, and then I would have to take the subway because that was a plan B alternative route. I mean, I had this thing down pat for a while. And there were a couple other jobs that had followed that as well after I left that job, which it was on good terms that I did leave that job. I realized that the reason I was doing these things is because I didn't feel like I was in control of my life. So being able to push the time gave me that sort of sense of feeling. And deep down, I didn't feel like I had a choice. I had to do these jobs. And I found myself in all sorts of jobs that I was just doing them for the money. And it was a really negative environment for a sensitive soul like me. I'm very sensitive to energy. And sometimes I would pray before I go into work. A lot of the times I cried. And I was doing it all to myself, but I didn't know that I had a choice. I didn't know there was another way. I didn't have that guidance of someone saying hey, you don't have to do that. And so I've got a lot of clients that come to me, particularly health coaches or artists, healers, that are in those sort of jobs, and they have their craft that they're working on, but the problem is so much of their energy is being drained by that job that they're in that they don't even put it into their business. So they get stuck in this cycle where it's just perpetuating, and then they got to get help to get out of that. Or sometimes, one client I have now, she was able to leave that job and kind of be on call and create some other avenues of revenue while she builds up her business. So there's different ways to get around it, but I want you to know that you don't have to do things that are making your soul feel crushed and out of alignment, where you're crying or you're upset or you're trying to control time or any of that stuff. So please, please, please give yourself permission to start to get a plan of action and get out of there, because as soon as you're ready to make that shift, it can come quickly. I mean, when I wanted to make a big life change, like moving from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Hawaii, that happened in about 7 months because I was open and I was ready for it, and I continue to do stuff like that. So where can you do that in your life today? Can you start to make a plan to unravel out of that? Because what are you really getting out of it? At the end of the day, what are you getting out of it? it's stressful, it makes you feel like awful, you're upset, like, what are you going to do if you do more of that? You're going to continue to get the same results, or it's going to decline. So the way to get out of that is to start to claim back your personal empowerment and really listen to what you're being guided to do and share your gifts with the world and become more of you. And that's when you get fully supported, is by becoming in alignment, because when you align, you shine. So I want to keep this video tip super short. Oh, it's about 5.5 minutes, but it's really good, so I'm going to keep it. Okay, well, I look forward to hearing from you with comment below. And if you're not on my mailing list, I encourage you to come over. It's michellepierson.net. That's MichellePierson.net. And I share a lot of cool stuff over there that I don't normally to the outside public. So come on in, get the insider scoop. And until next time, much love and aloha.